of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silent prayer for our country. Amen. Okay, it is March 1st, Tuesday evening. We are in the Municipal Center. Can I have the roll call, please?
Scott Murphy.
Here.
Rick Weber.
Here.
Greg Forney. Rose Johnson. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Bruce Chapman.
Here.
And Susan Webster's here.
Full house. Can we have a review of the minutes for February 15th meeting, 2022? I didn't see anything. I'll take common consent and we'll make any additions or corrections that need to be made. Everything look good? Common consent. All right. Persons before council. And I'm gonna bring this gentleman forward real quick because I don't know if he has anywhere to be this evening. This is the fellow that we go. Planning Commission. Can we bring the Planning Commission forward before we go any farther? That way, if this fellow has to
I was
go
very considerate. I
somewhere, he
I
can.
didn't have much of a life going tonight. But,
Neither did
very-
So anyway, we have a volunteer that wants to be on the Planning Commission. And he has given us a little resume type thing here of stuff that he's done. So anyway, I don't know if you would want to address the council, or if, I don't know if council has any questions to maybe ask of you. So do you have anything that you want to, say to the council?
Not beyond what's on the resume.
Okay.
I mean, I could make a hell of a pitch if you like, but it pretty much just says it right there.
Right,
you know.
right.
And I'm just interested in contributing to the community and being a part of it,
Right,
which I've done in the past, as you can see.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
And
Found it
Steve
rewarding.
is a town resident, so
Okay.
what we, should we move forward with this appointment, we would have 4 people on the commission who are town residents, one who is just on the outskirts of town, Larry, and the requirements of our ordinance on planning commission is that 3/5 be town
Right.
residents. So we're over that, so he's, qualified and eligible.
Well, I would entertain a motion if anybody was so moved.
So moved. Second.
A motion second on the floor to bring Steve Keith
Mhm.
into the planning commission. Any discussion? Any more discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. You're welcome aboard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you very
meeting
much.
this Thursday at 4 p.m. in that room right there, so that'll be your first meeting, but hope you can
Day
come.
after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow, yeah.
But you work quick.
Yeah,
What should I bring?
just you,
Yep,
paper vessel,
blood.
yeah.
Sorry?
That's 2 ounces of blood.
All the municipal smarts you
Yep,
can.
yep.
Yeah, bring your
Oh dear.
municipal smarts.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm in a learning stage and I welcome that. But please be patient. I'll try to tag along as best I can and I'll soon have something to say sooner or later, but it probably will be later.
Right. Well, like I said, we're glad to have you aboard,
Well,
so
thank you.
try to get that back together again, so, thank you.
Thank you.
We have
Appreciate
a
that.
full commission now.
Yep.
Have a full
Yep.
commission, so we're happy about that.
So,
And our other new member, Dave.
Yep. so, all right.
Well, I guess I'll leave then because I wouldn't have much to say about anything else that's about to happen. Well, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
very
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Okay, good to meet y'all.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. I might send you an email, see it's on your resume.
Yes, it is.
I'll send you one.
Please do.
I will.
Okay.
All
Okay.
Or that music.
communications from mayor. The Make It Shine she put on here, but Beth's gonna be handling that. I don't know if you wanna talk about the Make It Shine.
I just wanted to remind people that Make It Shine in the town of Bath is April 2nd with the April 9th rain day. We're encouraging everyone for the community to come out either to Greenway Cemetery or to Town Hall to pick up gloves, bags, sign waivers, and then disperse throughout the town, especially in areas where children play and so forth. Anywhere that you see trash. So we're encouraging everyone to join in participation in the event. We have a number of groups that have already indicated that they will join us. April 2nd, unless it rains, April 9th. And that's it.
Good deal. Thank you, Beth, for heading that up. And then just got the preparation, the budget preparation schedule here for everybody. And you all have already met with your first meeting today for the hotel motel funds. It looks like next week on the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the 21st, 8:30 in the morning for the 8th and the 9th, and 4:15 on the 10th, and then 4 o'clock for the overview. So anyway, there you go. Keep them in mind. So anyway, just discussing with Beth a little while ago, they are fixing the light downtown where that pole got hit, where the crossing was. Saw that a while ago when I come through town. So that's getting fixed up. So, and I know they've been out surveying streets and stuff like that for Public Works Department. Rick will talk more about that probably in Public Works. So get ready to crank up for the spring season. Rick, did you get a date? Did you all get a date for maybe gravel removal or anything like that?
For what?
Gravel removal on the streets?
Streets, no.
Okay, all right. We gotta remember to get that done if we can, so. All right, Bath Development, we don't have anybody here. Their next meeting is tonight? Starting tomorrow
It
night.
was supposed to be tomorrow night, but I think they canceled that.
Are they canceled?
For this month.
Okay, all right. Well, Parks and Recs, I saw that she had sent something, but there really is, they didn't have anything on there. Planning Commission, we've already got our new number on there, so anyway, we've got that. Is there anything else?
Well,
you
as
need
far
to
as
bring?
planning commission, we have held off any kind of election of officers or any kind of, the next meeting, we may have something more settled with that and be able to put up agendas and things like that. I figure on some kind of plan of things that we want to delve into, along with, going over the comprehensive plan. That it's time for that. So
Right.
that'll be the major part.
All right. That meeting is on Thursday at 4 here at the Rails and Trails. I know he left some things in there. Didn't we get the remediation papers back or whatever signed? Everything signed on that. So they're moving along on that, and Streetscapes is also moving along. We've advertised for an engineer or whatever.
Engineering consultant, which we have had someone RFQ to do that.
Okay. So that's coming along. Train Depot, I know you have some information on that, so.
The bid opening for the interior rehabilitation of the train depot will be this Thursday at 2 p.m. We're hoping to receive bids from all 4 of the contractors that came to the pre-bid meeting. And hope that they're good bids and affordable, and the money isn't too far off, what we have and how we want to move forward. The architect from Mills Group, Jim King, will be here to help guide the bid opening and like that. And hopefully we can arrange a time that he can get together with Sharon, if not that day soon. And Jim is just in Shepherdstown. The other members of that company are in Morgantown and Wheeling. So he's closer, and so he can work with Sharon on finances and like that, just to become more clear. We feel good about it, but we want to know for sure.
Right.
And we'll know, it's nerve wracking having put bid opening, so we hope it all goes well.
Right. So, all right.
You're all invited, anybody can come.
All right, thank you. Landmark Commission, we haven't kind of brought it up out of the ground yet, but I think that's the next thing we're gonna start working on here. We have the planning commission formed. Now we're gonna start putting our landmark commission back together, so. Clerk and recorders reports, Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
The only thing that I did have, and it's more under the finance, was we talked about the budget approval last meeting, but we didn't go through the formalities and everybody voting on it and having it passed.
Right.
I need to get that done so that I can send it to the state.
You have the original of
Yeah,
that?
I have it here if you don't. And this vote, and these are the things, and I believe you've sent these out. I think.
I haven't sent them to the state yet because it has to be, we
Right.
sent
We
them,
have
they were
to-
in your last
we have
time
to have the-
package.
Right, they were in the last package. I don't believe anyone had any comment or any issues with it at all. This is a poll vote, Mayor, so
Yeah.
you'll have to, and each one of us do get to vote, apparently, including you.
Yes,
So,
evidently,
yeah,
so,
accept
all
this
right,
resolution.
okay. Do I have a second on that, accepting the resolution?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second for the resolution for revision of the levy estimate on the budget, which has to go to the state. And I will ask, after the vote is done, I'm gonna pass this around, you need to circle either yes or no. So this goes to the state, this is a formal thing that goes to the state. So anyway, any more discussion on the budget revision? All right, I'll ask the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Which we want to go with it, go down that way and then come your way. All right, while we're doing that, do you have anything else? Okay, do you have anything for the recorder?
No?
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll go into finance then.
All right. See. So I'd like to make a motion to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $14,558.37.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $14,558.37. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bill in the amount of $10,980.83.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $10,980.83. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the Greenway Cemetery bill in the amount of $25. Second.
I have a motion second on the floor to pay the Greenway Cemetery bill in the amount of $25 even. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the streetscape bill in the amount of $283.54. Second.
I have a motion second on the floor to pay the streetscapes bill in the amount of $283.54. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the train depot bill in the amount of $255.42.
A motion and second on the floor to pay the train depot bill in the amount of $255.42. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do we have anything else for finance?
That's the budget revision with everything
That
else.
was
We already talked
really,
about that.
All right, tree board.
Nothing to report.
Okay. All right. Grant,
I have nothing to report besides I am trying to find some grants, something to help like the Moss Wind. I know that, what was that you said that you were looking for? Something you were, for the Moss Wind? Grant wise, did you apply for anything yet, or remember?
No,
But you're looking, okay, I'll get with you on that then, because
all right.
I do, I remember you said something about trying to find
Right.
something for it. So that's one thing that I want to see what I can find. So I'll get with Beth on that. But that's, I have nothing active going on, that's one thing that I am working on.
okay. All right, good deal. All right, public safety.
you have your, January report in your packets, so, and that's all I have.
February.
I'm sorry, February.
I can say,
technically.
got myself on the
No,
moment.
I did. And whatever else the chief has.
All right, chief, you have anything?
No,
Okay.
I know Danielle and a lot of the first responders will be reading it tomorrow for the kids that live there. They don't live there. Huh? Read across America. I won't be there till about.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing else.
All right, chief, thanks. All right. Cemetery?
Okay, I have several things that shouldn't take a lot of time, but, first of all, as you all may recall, you gave me, permission directive to begin a home rule application to sell a small portion of the old English cemetery to the Willards. I started on that application, contacted Dick Day with a couple of questions, and between his work and my work, we came to the realization that we cannot participate in the home rule program to annex or to sell the Willards property because it is outside the town of Bath. The home rule program applies only to issues within a municipality. So, we talked informally, and I believe finance committee, at our last finance committee meeting, not the one today, that we should bring forward to the council the need to move forward to annex the old English cemetery into the town of Bath. The town is the owner of the cemetery. We have a deed. It is the assumed caregiver to the property because we are the only ones that have cared for it in the past. But if we're going to move forward to do anything else, in conjunction with the home rule program, we need to annex the property. And, since we've gone to the process of getting a deed and a survey, this just makes sense to finish up our ownership to the property.
And it is contiguous to the
Right.
town of Bath on 3
I
sides.
was gonna say,
So there's no issues that I can think of, and I think it should be pretty smooth. And like I said, we already have a survey. It is, the legal work has to be prepared and it has to be presented to the county commission, who I can see would have no issue with it. And then it's just a matter of the tax maps
Right.
get changed, and it becomes merged with the town. So that's,
And it also gives us the ability, if we want to, at some time in the future, probably not the near future, but in the future, of trying to see, once we have taken proper care of the old English cemetery, of applying for placing Old English Cemetery on the National Registry of Historic Places. So that's kind of a maybe light at the end of the tunnel, long way down the road, but obviously we could not do that unless the cemetery were actually part of the town. So I would like to make a motion that the town council agree to have, or the town council direct Dick Day to begin the process to annex the old English cemetery into the town of Bath.
A motion, a second on the floor, to let Dick Gay start the legal process of annexing the old English cemetery into the town of Bath limits. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, so that covers it, and I will continue to work on the home rule application as I have time, so that when annexation is complete, then we can just quickly move forward with applying for this issue related to selling the small piece of property to the Willards. So we can move forward on that quickly once annexation is done. And I guess that's all that we need at this point. Also, as you all actually know, the Town of Bath Cemetery Management and Maintenance Corporation did file application for hotel motel monies. Just wanted to make you aware of that we did do that. The next thing is I did an ad for the Morgan Messenger advertising for a contractor to mow Greenway Cemetery. We do still have some interest with our previous contractor, but there was a request on the part of the town council that we advertise the position and see if there are any other local community contractors that would be interested to bid on the project. So we do want to make everybody aware that the Town of Bath Cemetery Corporation is seeking a contractor to mow Greenway Cemetery, 20 acres of Hilly Cemetery. The contract would extend from April 12th through Labor Day, and we are looking for a weekly bids, because that's normally how we pay our contractor, is on a weekly basis. And if anyone has any questions, they are free to contact me. But I hope that we will have some bids from the community. And I guess that takes care of that, unless anybody has any questions. Okay, and finally, in your packet, there is a handout that was prepared by Pete Brown and Tom Miller. You all know Pete Brown from Streetscape, etc. Tom Miller is a local gentleman who has spent his career doing estimates for engineering jobs, and Pete and Tom graciously agreed to help me develop a understanding of what needs to be done on the mausoleum to see that the mausoleum does not suffer further deterioration while we move forward to try to raise the money to do the necessary repairs on the mausoleum. The handout that you have lists the tasks that would need to be done, the cost estimated with each of the various phases of the project, and then also pictures of the mausoleum itself. You can see by looking at those pictures that their mausoleum has suffered some serious decay over the last several decades. The mausoleum was built in 1958, and we have not only the legal but the moral obligation to seek to make the necessary repairs, not only structural but cosmetic, to the mausoleum as our obligation to our public cemetery and the trust of the families who have placed loved ones in there. So this is our first proposal. This first document, in a sense, is informational to you of what needs to be done. The next step is for the cemetery committee to look at the proposal again and start identifying avenues where we can seek funding for this project. I think it's going to have to be a combination of perhaps some grant money, but grant money for public cemeteries is very difficult to come by. But we certainly need to make sure if there is any public money available, government money available for a project like this, we can apply for it. We're also going to have to look to the county, look to the town council, look to private donations, and move this project forward before there's any further deterioration. I am gonna have Pete and Tom come to the next cemetery committee meeting, and identify what we need to do now that perhaps we can do with our town crew to just prevent any further deterioration of the mausoleum. But this is a big project for the town, but it's a necessary project. It's a big project for the corporation, but we will assist the town in every way that we can to inform the community of the need and see if we can raise the funds throughout the community to show the respect that the families associated with the mausoleum deserve.
Let me ask you, is this enough information for Richard Gay to take to the circuit court to propose that the perpetual care fund be used in order for this repair, or would it have to be from another engineering firm?
My understanding is that this would probably be adequate, but I would like to work with the cemetery committee to make a good faith effort to see if we can raise monies outside of the court. Because there's, as Dick Gay has said, you know, he needed a realistic, true estimate of what it would cost to repair the mausoleum, before he could take our issue to the court. But he needs us to understand it's going to cost money to do that, and there's no guarantee in the end that that we will succeed. Although he obviously believes we have a very good chance of succeeding, or he wouldn't have made the suggestion. But I would like to first use the community itself to see what kind of resources we can raise. I have a couple of different ideas, and perhaps use the avenue of going through the courts as our last resort. Or perhaps maybe as another step going to the court, we need this amount of money, we've raised this amount of money, we'd like you to fill in the difference. I think we'll get a lot more sympathy even in the court if we've shown that we've done everything within our means to solve the problem, but we still need additional assistance.
Does Dick have this? Does he have this proposal yet?
No, he is not,
Yeah.
because
Okay. Just wondering.
yeah, not yet, because the town council needs to approve us moving forward on the project.
Beth, of the total 42 openings in the mausoleum, how many are filled?
About a third. And that's one of the issues we want to look at is the mausoleum, as I said earlier, was built in 1958, but it was kind of like cemeteries and everything else. Cemeteries actually have their fads. I don't want to use that word in any way disrespectful, but there are things that become popular and they have their day, and then something else becomes popular. And that happened quite quickly with mausoleums. They became very commonplace in cemeteries back in the 50s and early 60s, and then for some reason they kind of, except for very fancy ones and very fancy, cemeteries, they just, because they're expensive to maintain if you're going to really maintain them the way you should. So that it's only about a third of the mausoleum, the mausoleum that is being used currently. And that's something that we would like to address, to see if we can perhaps open the mausoleum up to some groups at a discounted price, in exchange for helping us raise the overall funding for the project.
As it sits now, I think it'll be a hard decision for a family member to make to put their family member there.
Correct.
To shake its ends.
Right.
Correct. And quite frankly, that's a lot of things in Greenway Cemetery. The more we invest in it and the better it looks, the more likely people will use the cemetery, which generates income, which is not what it's about, but it's a reality that we as the town have to deal with. The cemetery doesn't support itself any longer as it once did in the past. And yet, by our very charter, we have an obligation to maintain a public cemetery, so therefore, we have to find a way to, bear some of the costs of maintaining it. And this is a project that quite frankly has been neglected for a long time, that we have to step up to the plate and meet our obligation. And it's a big obligation. But I think as Tom and Pete found out, we think the overall structure of the mausoleum is sound. That's not the issue, but there are some issues, as you can tell. Some of them simply cosmetic that have to be addressed, and some a little more structural than that.
So you need our approval or our motion to move forward, or
That's what I would like to
support
do.
your efforts in this regard, or
If I have a question for you,
Sure.
if we have 42 total holes and maybe 15 of them are filled now,
Mhm.
this is just a dumb question. Would it be possible to consolidate the size of the total mausoleum and use some of those materials to defray some of your costs to redo it? I mean, I'm not really sure if that's even an idea.
I
I mean,
don't,
do we need a 42 slot mausoleum? When's the last time somebody was buried there?
year and a half ago.
And before that, I mean, if we're gonna, why maintain something that monstrous with 42 when the likelihood of us ever filling 42 doesn't exist?
That's something that you would have to direct to Pete or Tom. But I would say it's probably like, well, you might have a second story of your house, and you don't use it very often, do you take it off because you don't want to pay the electric bill? Structurally, I don't know if it's the kind of thing where,
it depends on where people are buried. Yeah.
right, and that's
We're
true
fixing a
as
lot of
well.
emptiness here.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely, but that's one of the things that we need to address. We may be able to change that. And I think that's one of
That's why I
the
asked
things
the question.
yeah, it's a good question.
I don't know if you can do that. Can you even move them?
You have to just.
Can you work on it with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Disinterring somebody's remains is a very, very involved legal process. I don't think that's the route we need to go.
And the other question I had, they did a hell of a job doing this.
Oh, my word.
Yes, they can.
Would a general contractor even come close to these fees? I seriously doubt it.
Well, as I indicated, Tom Miller has spent his whole career estimating engineering jobs, and he thinks that.
So he
this
thinks
is-
these are pretty much,
Yes, he does. He
Street
thinks
jobs.
it's,
Okay,
he thinks it's a very realistic.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't include replacing doors on the front, some of the cosmetic things that, why would you go all to put the effort to do all the structural repairs and then leave the front looking like the way it does. And a lot of the wall, what do you call it, the front part,
Fascia.
yeah, not the,
bracing and,
yeah, the bracing between the bays, they're called bays. So that definitely needs to be repaired now, but a lot of that's gonna have to be replaced. And that will address a lot of the cosmetic issues as well.
well, I would entertain a motion if anybody's so moved, to move forward with the mausoleum.
I move that the council approve or authorize the cemetery committee to move forward with efforts to repair and replace, to the extent necessary, the mausoleum per the specifications laid out in the document presented, and explore all avenues of financing those repairs, including up to and including approaching the courts regarding use of the perpetual fund.
Part of it.
Part of a portion.
My second. Gotcha.
All right.
All right.
I'm not gonna read that motion, but, you can keep up with it.
I'll interpret as best I can. but
Okay.
I'll get her.
Is that what you
I have a motion and a second on the floor to move forward with seeking repairs on the mausoleum and finding finance to do that, basically.
Yep.
So any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I am done.
Done. All right. All right, then we'll move on to Public Works.
Since winter is over, we met this afternoon, and decided on our meeting dates for this summer. This past year, because we had a carryover, we ended up spending $48,000 paving. But half of that was carried over from the year before. For this year, we're going to hit Ewing and Warren Streets. So we're going to be asking, we got a budget for $40,000 for paving. And the next two coming up the following year will be Kent, St. George, and one more, probably in the same ballpark as that. And somebody mentioned to me about Pfizer. Rodney went up and patched everything up there, so I think we're okay for a bit there.
Okay.
Next time I run into Rodney, which will probably be tomorrow, we'll go ahead and pick a cleanup day for spring for them to go around and pick up leaves and debris that people have bagged. And I'll go ahead and have them go ahead and sweep the streets tomorrow when it's in.
Yeah, we'll make good time.
This year, Ewing and Warren, next year,
Kent and St. George,
St.
and
George.
one more,
and one more maybe Pfizer.
depending on
The
the
Pfizer.
depending
Okay,
on.
I'll just put Kent and St. George.
Yeah, just and possibly one more. And
Um,
that's where we be.
gotcha. All of Warren? All of Warren?
Part of the top of that, it's like Ewing and Warren will kind of merge together, parts that aren't done.
All right, thanks, Rick. Ordinance, I will have something definitely by next time, for us to start working on, to vote on. I will get it formulated properly and get it back to council. That is a promise from me. So anyway, we'll move on to Waterworks.
The only thing for Waterworks is that our next meeting is this coming Monday, the 7th at 4:30. That's all I have to report.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Is there anything else to come before council this evening? If not, okay, we'll hold a second. We got a volunteer back here that wants
Maybe
to.
that works.
So first off, I want to apologize for doing this out of order here. Friends of the Rail Trail is planning a cleanup for Make It Shine, but it's on the 9th, and that was purposely done to avoid conflict of labor. That basically you're going to be cleaning up the cemetery and pretty much the same people and cleaning up the rail trail. I wanted to make sure that there was no conflict of concern.
No problem there.
Particularly with pickup of hauling away the trash.
Yeah, we'll find a place that you can put it, and we can get Rodney or one of them, or we'll get the state road to come get it, one of the two.
Yeah, I've already signed up with the state, but I was told to check in with you because it's probably gonna happen that way. So as long as you're comfortable, then we're good to go.
I don't have a problem
They
with
will actually pick up debris until April 15th, I believe.
it. Okay.
So
Right.
that you can put it out and just let
That's
DOH know to come and get it.
Yeah,
If you've applied yourself with the state, will they send Dave bags and gloves and everything
Yes.
like these?
I think they will. I applied for hauling, but that's where it got confusing for me, because I didn't apply for tipping fees or anything along that line.
Yeah, they'll take care of all that.
Okay, good. Then we're in good shape.
Good deal, good deal. All right, anything else to come before council? If not, I would entertain a motion for common consent to adjourn the meeting. Common consent, good deal.
Now, because my name tag, yeah,